Hey YouTube, welcome to my Phase 2 Verzik guide. Verzik attacks on a 4-tick cycle and you need to attack and blah blah. No one understands that when they're learning, so this is going to solve that. Simply put, pray range until the red crabs spawn. I repeat, pray range. If you're using a 4-tick weapon such as whip or blade, you simply attack whenever the chain sound goes off and you click back once you see your XP drop. If you do this, just make sure you don't click back on the same tile that you just came from, otherwise you'll range ball yourself. Just remember, you should be moving every cycle that a whip attacks, or you can make sure you move a tile every single time the chain swing goes off. That's how you avoid most damage on P2. If you're using a scythe, it gets a bit more complicated, so let's go over that real quick. So for me, I see the Scythe walk as having 3 different spots in Verzik's attack cycle that you can attack yourself, and you need to skip one. The trick is identifying which part of the cycle that you're in. Just for a bit of context, I just finished number 3 of the attack cycle. I'm going to skip one, and then this next part is going to be spot number 1 on P1. Let's do an in-depth review. To know if you're in spot number 1, you see your XP drop as the chain swing sound goes off. Spot 2 is when your scythe animation finishes as the range ball explodes. Now, spot number 3 is whenever you feel like you're going to get bounced, but you don't. And then you need to skip. For maximum efficiency, it's best to stay close to Verzik for every tick, except for the dangerous tick. The best visual way to see this is to click back as you see the green bomb land on the floor. Nilos during P2. So the way to look at these guys is that they are suicide bombers that are trying to kill you. So how these guys work, once they spawn they will aggro onto one person, and then most of the time they will re-aggro onto someone else. So you need to pay attention to them for about 2 to 3 seconds while still trying to dodge the range attacks. These guys will explode if they get within 2 tiles of you, but they will stop where they register that you're within 2 tiles, and they will move 1 more. And depending on how close you are depends on how much damage you take. I'm going to make a video on learning how to pop crabs. Subscribe if you want to be notified whenever that comes out. The time it takes crabs to spawn is not a static thing. It's a time range of approximately 45 to 60 seconds per round. So just plan on it happening more than once during your P2. Oh, you see this purple guy? Hit him with an envenoming thing, such as a blowpipe or the whip or something with a serphelm on. At 35%, Verzik will stop spawning the suicide bombing Nilos, and she'll start spawning the red healing Nilos, just like the ones at Maiden. Except these don't just directly path to her. As soon as you see these guys spawn, you need to pray magic and kill them to below 30% health. Once the red Nilo is below 30% health, then you can get back on the boss and keep doing the same thing. Once the red Nilos come out, you won't have to deal with any more suiciding Nilos. From 35% down to 0 for P2, it's extra punishing since you're praying magic. You don't have the luxury of praying range during the first 65%, since the range pray halves the damage of the green range balls. You can get hit up to a 50, and pair that with one wrong step or a bounce, you can really get KO'd easily here. There are some advanced tactics that you can do during P2, but I really don't recommend it if you're watching this video on how to do it. If you guys enjoyed this video and it helped you out, caress that thumbs up button for me. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. And also, I really appreciate if you guys subscribe if you want to see more content.